Hey there, and welcome to our review of these guys, the NIID Neo Backpacks. Here at Nomads Nation, we have been reviewing the world's best EDC and travel gear for the past 7 years. And in this video, I'm gonna tear these bags apart. We're gonna fully pack the bags out, double check their advertised capacity. I'm gonna give you my brutally honest pros and cons and my overall scores. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold that the NIID Neo Backpacks are for you, I will give you 2 alternative recommendations that might better suit your needs. Also, quick note, here at Nomads Nation, we have like hundreds of bags in line to be reviewed, which is why we do offer an expedited review package, which NIID did pay for. But you'll see throughout this entire review that does not affect what we say about the bags. It just allows NIID to jump the line. Let's talk about the overview of the NIID Neo Nomad Backpack N4. Wow, that is a mouthful. There's a lot of words there. I feel like they could have maybe compressed that. Now, this is our second or third NIID review, and I gotta say, they are a brand that's really innovative. And they know who they are, and they do their own thing, and I like all of those things. And for the Neo, what NIID's doing is giving their best shot for a work/gym/short travel backpack. So if you are the kind of person who goes on a 3-day business trip, you're catching a flight, catching some trains, and you want to hit the gym while you're in a new location, then these bags are designed for that lifestyle. Let me run you through some of the top features. I think most notably is going to be the actual aesthetic and the design. This is NIID's sort of, I would say kind of futuristic aesthetic. All their bags have a little bit of a Matrix-esque kind of a vibe, which I think makes sense. They call this bag the Neo. But while it's futuristic, I also think it's quite clean and minimalist in its own sense as well. It's not trying too hard. It makes a statement while still kind of having like some low keyness to it as well. We've got 2 external water bottle holders, 2 quick access zippered pockets, a beefy harness system with shoulder strap pockets. I'll be honest, I have never been a fan of shoulder strap pockets. I do like these though, and I'll tell you why exactly in the functionality section of this review. Couple side handles, top handle, a nice tech compartment, then you get clamshell style access into the main compartment with also some accessories that do modularize themselves into the Neo backpack. I'll explain how those work a little bit later in this review. But most interesting of all is the front compartment, for me at least, because I haven't quite seen this done before, where NIID has given you this quick access slash pocket, but notice there's no organization in here. So if you're like, what in God's name is going on with this pocket then? Well, this is actually potentially your shoe pocket, or at least like a storage compartment. And if you need to put your shoes in there or any other bulky gym stuff, you actually get expansion at the bottom of the bag. And the expansion has mesh on the sides for a little extra breathability. So shoes, sweater, dirty clothes, whatever it is that you need to store here on your gym, work, travel experience, that's what this compartment is for. And it's very innovative. I haven't quite seen like a front expansion like that with the ventilation. It's quite cool. Now, NIID claims the Neo backpack is 26 liters in capacity that can expand to 32 liters. And I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, we're gonna have a hard time completely verifying this, because you'll notice at the top, just the way that like this design works, getting volume up there is gonna be really challenging. It works very well with the modular tech pouch accessory, but in terms of like usable volume, let's see what we can do here. We're gonna figure it out. So as you can see, we got the main compartment as packed out as we can in terms of actual usable volume. But then for the active section, let's go ahead and expand just so we can show maximum volume and overall capacity. Notice too with this front compartment that there's not a lot of volume at the top. Most of the volume's at the bottom, which makes sense. You see the way that this opens up with the expansion, right, coming in at the bottom. But it also works perfectly for shoes, as you can put the heel of your shoe here, right? It's bulkier, and the toe kind of angles down, so that works out very nicely. Let's double check the dimensions real fast. We got a height of 19 inches, 12 inches width, and a fully packed out base depth expanded of 10.5 inches. Quick personal item check. This is for most US flights, 18 inches by 14 inches by 8 inches. And this is definitely not gonna work, mostly because of the bulkiness of the expanded active compartment. So for personal item, it looks like we're in no-go territory, but for a carry-on, it should be fine. So you can see right here for the main compartment, we're at around 22, 23 liters capacity. And then for the active area in the front, we're looking at around 7 liters capacity. So which, to be honest, we could have probably stuffed it full a little bit more if we wanted to. Plus you got the water bottle pockets, side pockets, shoulder strap pockets. I think that 26 to 32 liters capacity for this bag is pretty spot on. Let's do a quick weight check for both bags. Coming in at 2.7 pounds, and the black version coming in at 3.2 pounds. Now, the difference in those weights is actually due to the fabrics, which I'll explain in detail in the next chapter. As of recording, the Neo comes in 3 different color options. The bag maintains its shape pretty well. This is what it looks like when it's empty. And here you can see it fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. For reference, I'm 5'8" and Jason Bagmoa is 6'2". And for all that, these bags run around 130 to 200 USD, depending on the fabric version that you get. Which I'm not gonna lie, like 130 for the polyester version is really impressive. And 200 for the Cordura ain't too shabby either. And it should be noted that right now, as of going live, both these bags are on Kickstarter. So if you like the bags and you like the price points and you want to get them at even a better price point, be sure to grab them on Kickstarter, which you should do with the first link in the description. And no matter what, those links will always make sure you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, those links are where to get them. Let us now discuss the materials of the NIID Neo Backpack. Now, this bag currently comes in 2 different fabric options. This orangish, beautiful-ish, reddish color that I love is the polyester version, and same thing with the navy color. And then there's also the Cordura nylon version. Now, note on the Cordura nylon version, they're also using Fortitex, which they claim is like slash-resistant materials underneath the fabric. And slash-proof fabrics are fantastic if you're in an area where theft is a bit more of a concern. But on the negative side, it does make the bag heavier, which is why I think there was almost half a pound difference between both versions. This one just feels bulky in comparison. Quick note on these fabrics, the polyester feels very light, malleable. It's got a nice flow to it, where the nylon is thicker, certainly more professional looking, but a little bit more, you know, urban anonymous, which might not be everyone's cup of tea. Overall, both fabrics are gonna be fantastic. The nylon will be a bit more abrasion resistant. The polyester will be a little bit lighter and actually technically a little bit more weather resistant. But honestly, you can't go wrong with either bag. I just recommend like basing your fabric decision on either color, like the aesthetic, whichever one you're like drawn to from a vibe perspective, or if the safety of the Fortitex really speaks to you, then let that be your deciding factor. For me though, I don't know. I think that I prefer just a lighter bag, so I think that the polyester version will be my choice. So we're gonna use the polyester for the next few sections. Couple other notes on the materials. We've got YKK zippers, I believe. Yep, absolutely best zippers in the game. Now, one thing to note are all the zippers are PU coated, except for the expansion zipper right here. This PU coating is definitely gonna help with weather resistance of your bag and then keep it also nice and sleek looking. But PU coated zippers can peel over time, potentially looking like this. For the hardware, we have NIFCO. I've actually been seeing more of these guys recently. NIFCO doesn't have quite the premium reputation that you see with Woojin and Duraflex, but I'm sure more or less that should get the job done. The power mesh feels very high quality. Silky nylon webbing, stretchy high quality power mesh. Pretty nice interior. It's got a nice sheen to it. Soft, kind of a silky vibe. It's not the most premium, but neither is it the cheapest. I think that it's actually a nice choice at the price point. Microfiber fabric in the laptop compartment. It's good, not the best. Now for the overall material scores, this one's a little bit challenging because for the polyester version coming in at 130 USD, I gotta admit for the materials, you're getting some serious bang for your buck. But 200 USD for the Cordura version, you know, it's a bit more middle of the road. I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5 and this a 3.5 out of 5. So we're gonna mash these together and meet in the middle for an overall material score of 3.75 out of 5. And one thing to note about all the scores in this review is that they are completely personal, just based on my experience using the bags. Next up, let's pack out the NID Neo Backpack. All right, so I got a bunch of stuff here for a hypothetical business/gym trip. I'm going to Guangzhou. It's an hour train ride. I'm going there for a little weekend, get a little bit of business done. I'm gonna be hitting up the gym in between meetings. So let's pack out the bag accordingly. Behind the water bottle holders, we have zippered pockets. Perfect spot for your wallet, passport, and boarding pass. You can see it is lined with a advertised RFID stopping fabric. I've heard both ends of the argument on whether or not this kind of lining actually protects your credit card and your passport, anything that could be, you know, stolen. So I can't say for sure how effective the RFID protection will be, but if it's important to you, it is there. Other back zipper pocket, we have a key leash in here and no RFID lining. Main compartment, very easy to open. The clamshell opening though is a little bit strange. As you can see, this panel gets shallower towards the top of the bag. You can see I got my weekend's worth of clothes in a packing cube. On the flip side, we've got some zippered pockets for organization. You can put your hard drive in one of these pockets. Maybe some backup meds. Vitamin C can be a lifesaver when you're on the road. Sleeve in the back is a good spot for a book. Now let's talk about these guys right here. These are the pouches that can potentially come with the Neo Backpack. And I'll be honest, I don't know if they come with for free or if they are add-ons, but this is gonna be a good pick for anybody who really likes modular accessories. I swear on both pouches, On the back, you can unzip the Velcro, and then you have a little rail at the top. And then what this allows you to do is connect the rail at the top, Velcro it into place, and then boom, you now have a hanging tech pouch, or DOP kit, or meds kit, or really whatever you want it to be. And you've got two different kinds. You got a larger one and the smaller one. The Velcro system is actually quite smart because getting this on and off with the design of this lip panel right there would have been a bitch, but this makes it a lot easier actually, so very well designed there. You can see the pouches are pretty cool. We've got the larger one with some gussets and a bit of internal organization, and then a smaller, flatter one. This would be great for the flight, I think, with your boarding pass and your passport in there. And then notice too, we have a shoulder strap. So what you can do then is unclip one of the modular pouches, pop the harness system into place, and now you've got your entire modular travel kit with you, where this becomes maybe your day sling. Totally works, doesn't look too bad actually. I'm of two minds when it comes to modular ecosystems like this. I'm usually not a huge fan, but for some reason I think this one actually works. And I think that it works a little bit because of the strange, let's say interesting design of the clamshell opening, that it makes access actually quite simple for this side. So you can then put this modular pouch right there, and it just gives you that elevation, which actually quite works. And then this lip, you weren't gonna be able to really fit anything into this compartment anyways, or up into this corner. So having this sit there is just a way to utilize that space in a way that you would not have been able to before. So overall, I think they're pretty cool, but I'm curious, like, what do you think? Gimmick, awesome, something you'd actually use? Curious as to what you think about just modular tech accessories like this in general. Let me know in the comments below. Let's say you just use your own tech pouches. You can throw one right here, another one on top. That'll handle the main compartment. Let's talk about shoes. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, cool, NIID has a matching shoe case. They do not. This is actually from Bellroy, and you know, it's not too far off, let's just be honest. This is a coincidence. This is the shoe case that we always use in all of our reviews. Check them if you don't believe us. So, you know, a little bit of Bellroy inspiration here with this fabric. They are very similar. The Bellroy fabric, though, is a little bit more malleable and feels a little bit more, kind of like thicker actually when you get into it, versus the NIID is a little bit smoother and obviously just a slight difference in the hue. So now that the main compartment is fully packed out, let's put the shoes in here and see how they fit. And you can see, we're actually able to get the shoes in there without expanding this compartment. And then if you expand, you're gonna give yourself a lot more breathing room. It was quite a tight fit with these shoes in here before, but now you can fit your hoodie in there as well, maybe a wet umbrella. It just gives you a lot more versatility. You see that gusset right there? Like, this thing is now gonna be one of the better self-standing bags ever, just because of how much width you have at the bottom of the bag. Tech compartment. We've got a Velcro divider right here. This sleeve is big enough for a 14-inch laptop. You can see my 13 fits in nice and snug here. Now we're gonna test a 17-inch in the larger compartment. For sure, this is our 17-inch Asus VivoBook. So if you travel with two laptops, you'd be happy to know that both can fit in this bag. Now that the bag is fully packed out, let's talk about these side pockets. 24-ounce Columbia water bottle fits in here tightly. You have a little bit of expansion here on the side. I would say it's not the most secure water bottle holder I've ever seen. You know, I've seen more secure. But it's a very aesthetically pleasing water bottle holder. I do wish that there was some sort of lash point either here or on the side of the bag that you can clip your water bottle into. You could, in theory, use this elastic part right there, slide that in, and then maybe use a carabiner to pop these two together. Our 1 liter Yeti, I'm gonna say that's tight. It works, but it doesn't feel very safe. And then the 17-ounce Lark, this is probably gonna be a better and safer overall fit. This side also fits an umbrella very nicely. The fact that we have two of them too will make a lot of our urban travelers very happy. Umbrella on one side, water bottle on the other, good to go. Moving on, let's talk about the comfort of the NIID Neo Backpack, which I gotta admit, I was really impressed by. I've been testing this bag out for the past few days, but there's one caveat to that, which I'll talk about in a second. Now, the comfort of a bag comes down to its shoulder straps and its back panel, both of which in this bag are really well padded. You can see we got plenty of padding here, plenty of mesh also for ventilation and breathability. And the shoulder straps are coming in at just over 2.5 inches width, which I think is perfect. You also got a teeny tiny sternum strap, but it's better than no sternum strap. But let's talk about where comfort can get a little bit weird or interesting, which is with these shoulder strap pockets, which I used to not be a fan of. And in fact, most of the time I'm still not a fan of. It reminds me of something that Sig, our media assistant behind the camera, says, where he's like, you gotta commit to the bit. If you gotta do shoulder strap pockets like this, you gotta commit, and NID committed. And what that means is these shoulder straps are just huge. It looks like a beaver tail almost, like at the bottom of the shoulder strap, which doesn't look very sexy and looks, you know, a little bit awkward. But it's the only way to make these pockets actually work. You can see right there when the phone, my iPhone 17, is in the pocket, it can actually fit. And you can see here with the B-roll, the phone is then actually retrievable, because sometimes you're wearing like these bags with these shoulder strap pockets and your phone is in there and it's really tight because you're trying to keep the shoulder straps like nice and sleek and sexy, but then you can't get the actual phone out. NID committed to the bit. But it does come with some compromises in comfort. First of all, like if you've got something hard in the shoulder strap, like it's just not gonna be comfortable, right? Your phone is a bulky, metallic piece of hardware, and then when this bag is fully packed out and it's just pulling against you on your shoulders and maybe hitting you in the collarbone a little bit, it depends on how you wear it, but more or less, like this will take some points off the comfort. But even if the phone is out, I found these to be uncomfortable because of this choice of mesh right here. This mesh is quite nice because it's got some elasticity to it and it's a very nice feeling mesh and it looks good and you can actually push your phone out there. So it works very nice. It's quite functional, this mesh, but it's quite coarse as well. So when I'm wearing the bag, I'm a bit of an arm swinger. Maybe dramatically so, where I'm like this. This mesh is constantly just kind of like hitting my arm here. Let's not be over dramatic though. I wasn't bleeding from the mesh. It just was something that was noticeable as I was using it. And sometimes with a premium bag, the less things you notice, the better the bag is designed. So I think that maybe NID could have used something a little bit softer here, but maybe if you're less of a dramatic arm swinger as me, it won't be as big of a deal. You kind of like do this. Yeah, this is fine. Like no, no mesh on arm problem happening right now. That aside though, I think it's a very comfortable bag. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. The sternum strap will be very helpful. And we got dangle stoppers in place to give you a nice streamlined experience. Now let's talk about the functionality of the NID Neo Backpack. And I think this is where this bag's gonna shine a little bit more, because when the whole bag is working together as one, it definitely works. Like it's a really well-functioning bag. The front pocket is a little bit limited with its functionality. You're only gonna fit larger things in here. But the nice thing is, like, let's say you don't wanna carry shoes, and you don't want to expand it for this particular trip. It's just a good spot for a sweater or a jacket. This versatility is actually quite nice. Or you can even put your over-the-ear headphones in this section. Like, it's the anti-admin compartment. You're not gonna use this front pocket to organize your smaller bits of gear. It's basically like a smaller sling, a smaller non-organized sling on the outside of your bag. So over-the-ear headphones, sweater, tech pouches, larger, bulkier things that typically go in the main compartment can now go in here, and I really found that like a joy to use. And then having the expansion on top of it in the front here was a very nice addition that gives you a lot of extra space. The back pockets are very well designed as well. There's a nice amount of volume in here and accessibility. These aren't too tight. And because of their location, you actually don't have to take the bag off to grab whatever in those pockets. Boom, wallet. One-handed. See if I can put it back. Absolutely, pretty dope. It's the tiniest sternum strap ever. And then for the shoulder strap pockets, again, they committed to the bit, which means they're very easy to use and your phone is able to go in here. And because of the extra padding on the shoulder straps, like it's not uncomfortable. You know, it's noticeable. There's a brick clearly pressing against my man boob, right? But like more or less, like it gets the job done and I can access the phone quite quickly. Say hi to the Nomads Nation crew. Perfect. Nomads Nation audience, my sister just FaceTimed me. Let's see what she thinks about the bag. This is the NID Neo. What do you think?
Giving Mad Belroy vibes.
Mad Belroy vibes?
Color alone.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you think about shoulder strap pockets, Riss? Do you like them?
Useless to me.
Tell us how you really feel.
I think it's way more masculine.
It's definitely got some masculine vibes for sure. All right, well I gotta go. Say goodbye to the people.
Like and subscribe, baby.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Handles more or less get the job done. These back handles will be controversial. I like them in some ways because they're there and they're out of the way. But what people are gonna hate is the fact that when you carry via side handle mode, the bag is not balanced. But they're quite grabbable, a lot of space underneath the handles. And you got a top handle as well. A little bit less space up here, but a very nice nylon webbing, silky smooth, feels very satisfying to the touch. Water bottle pockets, you know, they're okay. They try to do it the right way. They try to add a little bit of depth at the bottom, but there's just not enough. It's too tight here at the bottom. So I would prefer like a gusset that actually goes all the way along this bottom panel. Then the water bottle pocket would have really opened up more. Tech compartment is great though. A lot of protection in there. We got the 2 laptops. Everything feels very nice and cozy. The false bottom situation is, where is you? Right there. You know, it's pretty good. We're just slightly elevated from the bottom, but you'll hear the metal on wood test, very protected. Now let's talk about one feature though on this bag that I'm not personally crazy about, but I will give NIID their props, and you know, it is an innovative feature. And that is what they did with this back panel here, where you can see the luggage pass-through is actually the entirety of the height of the back panel. Like, look at this. I've never quite seen this before. Now on the good side, it's gonna be real easy to slide this MFer over your suitcase for that work, travel, gym trip. And you can see it gives the bag some security. Yeah, it's actually fine because it's doubling up like that. But just single, like a single strap, like a very loose one, I wouldn't appreciate it as much. Because it's doubled up, you've got a lot of overall security. It actually works. So I'm cool with this. But what I'm less cool about, or with, is they're actually quite loose. And that's a problem when I'm going to grab the bag and put it on and I'm like, oh crap, that's not the shoulder strap. That's the back panel. And it happened to me more than once when I was testing this bag. Underneath the shoulder strap, it's the same freaking padding and it's like the same width too, right? So you're just going in there to grab your bag and you're like, what's going on? That's right, I grabbed the back panel again, not the shoulder strap. And this is something that you'll probably get used to. You'll snag the bag from the right angle, and you know, if you do that, then you'll switch sides. Yeah, just one of those design choices on the bag that I think works very nicely for one thing, but then greatly compromises indirectly a different thing that may have not been completely taken into consideration. So a couple quirks aside though, I do think this backpack is ferociously functional, and I'm gonna give it an overall score of 4.5 out of 5. Like, it really works. The self-standing design sort of makes the whole thing flow. It's innovative, it's a little quirky, but more or less I found this bag an absolute joy to use, functionally speaking. Now before we jump into the next section, I gotta let you know that if you're enjoying this review, you might be a bit of a gearhead or really love bags or travel or everyday carry. And if that's the case, I wanna welcome you to Nomads Nation again, but also let you know that we don't just do YouTube reviews at Nomads Nation, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in the newsletter, you can look at me like you're a reporter in the field, where I'm coming into your inbox on a weekly basis telling you what's happening in the world of gear with the newest drops, limited edition releases, industry trends, and everything in between. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this incredible community, be sure to look for this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the overall scores of the NIID Neo Backpack. First up, value. I'm gonna have to give like an in-between score again, just because of the disparity between the 130 USD price point and the 200 USD price point. I actually think that those scores are kind of aligned with the materials, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for this one and a 4.0 for this one. Merging together, giving an overall score of 3.75 out of 5. Sorry, editors. Gotta make a new graphic for that. Now let's do a quick little recap of all our scores so far. 3.75 out of 5 for materials, 3.5 for comfort, 4.5 for functionality, 3.75 for value, which gives us an overall score of 3.875. Which, yeah, I'd say this bag for me lands somewhere between that 3.5 to 4.0 range. But I think for a lot of people, this is gonna be like knocked out of the park, 5 out of 5, because it's a very rare offering where you're getting a bag that looks cool, but it's still a little bit muted, but gives you that businessy vibe, but nothing too much. But then you also have that gym business lifestyle combo in a way that few other bags can really match. It's just definitely a unique offering on the market. So, you know, from a value perspective, that's gonna boost it up for a lot of people as well. And just a reminder, if you are thinking of making a purchase, we do recommend doing so with the first links in the description, just because again, those links make sure that you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, that's where you'll find them. Let's talk about the overall pros and cons of the NIID Neo Backpack. Pro number one is going to be the unique aesthetic. I mean, these bags just are one of a kind. Pro number two for me is that front compartment. It's almost like having a small little duffel on the outside of your bag, which is great for an active lifestyle. And pro number 3 is that while shoulder strap pockets can be controversial, I will say these are some of the better ones that I've ever tested. But on the flip side, all bags have cons. Here are mine. Con number 1 is going to be that back panel shoulder strap grabbing issue. Con number 2 is going to be the rough mesh of the shoulder strap pocket scratching against my arm as I was walking. And con number 3, while the water bottle pockets are good, I will say for the price point, they're not my favorites. But if you're not quite sold that the NID Neo backpacks are for you, let's talk alternatives. First up, if you are new to the Nomads Nation channel, you should definitely check out our leaderboard rankings video. In this video, myself and the rest of the Nomads Nation squad, we get together and pick our favorite bags in different bag categories. It's the easiest way for you to get an idea of what the best options are on the market, and I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, in case you're not aware, here at Nomads Nation, after reviewing hundreds of the world's best bags, we decided to start our own bag brand, and that brand is called Firo. Firo's got one mission, is to keep modern professionals streamlined and focused. Our bags are insanely comfortable. We focus on laptop protection while also integrating a lightweight design, and we've been building our own community. I'm so proud of what we've done over there. If you want to learn more about Firo bags, you can do so at firo.co or with the second link in the description. But if we're very close with the NID, here are 2 alternative suggestions that might get you a little bit closer. First up would be the Carry Max EDC. This is a bag that will have some functional similarities to the NID Neo, especially when it comes to that front/compartment. Carry also has a very similar pocket that can also fit shoes. But Carry is coming in at a lot higher price point, but also giving you like better materials and a better warranty. And my second alternative is gonna be the Modern Day Fare backpack. This is a great pick for you if you think that 30 liters might be a little bit too big. Modern Day Fare is coming in around 24 liters, but it's still a gym, work, and possibly travel backpack. It's got a very business professional aesthetic, great quick access points, and is one of my favorite backpacks of all time. Honestly, all 3 bags are great. You just gotta figure out which one best suits your needs. And to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can just watch these videos right here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.